Happy Tuesday. Come on in, say hello. Come on in, say hello. We're in 5 minutes late, but that's okay. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Oh, okay. You gotta be kidding me. No way in. Anyway, no way. Anyway, hi, everyone. Hello, Mr. Professor. How are you? Nice seeing you the other day. I am still trying to catch up on emails and contracts, so I will be reaching out soon. Let's see here. Good evening. Hey, TikTok family. Hello, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I don't think we're on LinkedIn today. Let me put this in here. Hello, Mr. Gumbiade. How are you? Y'all, I think this month went by really fast. Hello, Miss Rachel. Hello, hello, hello. This month went by really fast. I'm telling you, like we just did July 4th, Independence Day, like 2 minutes ago. It's almost August. August is my birthday month. All month long is going to be birthday behavior. Work was fine. Long day. First day at work this week, but it was productive. How can I see you? What do you mean? How can you see me? Meaning discuss your case. If that's the case, then you can go on our website to schedule a paid consultation, Ms. Rachel. Yeah, it was quite a bit longer, but this month is going on 4 years, didn't he? I'm telling you. Less than 4 years, Miss Peggy. How many months? 3 years and 5 months. It's going to be the longest 3 years and 5 months of our lives. Hi, everyone. Anyway, happy Tuesday. This is Attorney Abisola Adepola Olanle. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. When I tell you that we get that question, and by we, my staff, myself, during consultations every single day, or people wanting to schedule, like, hey, I'm in Maryland and in Alaska, but I found out the immigrants in Alaska too. Can you represent me in my immigration case? Absolutely, yes. Immigration is federal practice. That means that an attorney that is licensed in any state that practices or who practices immigration law can represent you regardless of the state you live in. So reach out to us, 334-341-4475. We'll be glad to represent you in your cases. I don't take all types of immigration cases. So it's always best to call our office, first of all, to see what kind of cases, case types that we handle, or you can actually go on our website. It's right there that tells you the case types that we handle as far as immigration is concerned. Anyway, once again, that's 334-341-4475 at Olalea Immigration on all platforms. Like, follow, share, subscribe. We would very much appreciate all of that. Let's talk immigration, y'all. Let's discuss. There's a lot going on. But I'll tell you something that happened recently to someone. And so let's talk about that so that you can avoid that same type of error. All right. So what we're talking about tonight, we're talking about asylum and green card process collide. So asylum and green card process collide. Like Cecilia today, it will look in collision. Green card and asylum. Okay. So, but jokes apart. So, and if you are just joining us for the first time, welcome. We come together as immigrants. So we immigrants come together on this platform social media platforms at Olale Immigration. Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Every other time zone, I don't know. But I'm sure she'll join. Hello, Ms. Akwemi. So if you have questions, well, let us know where you're joining us from. What state, what city, what country, and then the process is sometimes we talk about we take questions, or we have questions tonight. Most of the time we have a topic to talk about, but I still get to as many questions as possible. So if you've got questions which you only get a general response to, put your questions in the comment section and we will get to as many as possible. Hello, Olive Beauty Empire. All right. So asylum and green card process collide. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. So in Tobaliti, he who has here, let him hear. In Tobawi phone, something, something like that. I don't know. It's something along these lines. I had I had a lady that I had a consult with yesterday, and y'all, when I tell you my Yoruba language skills is really bad, like my Yoruba language skills, yesterday I found out that it's in ICU. Not even kidding. And Yoruba and no, Miss Peggy, your Yoruba is questionable. Literally is hello. And yeah, we for by joke, but that's what I was trying to say. Of my joke, well, thank you. Olaoluwa, thank you. So I was on consult with a potential client. She retained my services, and she's more comfortable with Yoruba language. I'm more comfortable with Salami. I'm more comfortable with English, especially when I'm very, very I'm a very passionate human being. I'm sure most of you know. So when I'm really, really intense about what I'm talking about, Yoruba is not my go-to. It's just not. It's going to be a flop. Like seriously. So she was like, "This is what I and Yoruba." I was like, I should effect you. I was like, I was like, I wish I could, but no. I'm not sure how I made an A3 from SSC, whatever that exam is. I don't know. Only look out for me. But it's been a while. But anyway, so if you just anyway, I digress. Let's talk immigration. Asylum and green card process collide. Here is what I'm talking about when it comes to that. Most people come into the country, they file for asylum. A lot of people tell you, hey, if you're going to stay behind, you've got to file something. Hello, I am Salami. Good evening. How are you? And most people file for asylum. Sometimes you don't even have a ground, meaning what is your basis for persecution? A lot of people don't even have that. But you file for asylum, people tell you, well, it allows you to stay in the country. You can file, get a work authorization, which all of that is great and it's true. But then when push comes to shove, you're scheduled for an interview. You now meet an officer. They're asking you what is your asylum claim on. You've got no idea. Quite a number of people that I meet, you would not even believe how often I meet people that are looking for other options, or they're wondering why the case is still pending an interview for many, many months. And then when I meet with them, I say, hey, what is the story of what is your asylum story? What is the basis of you filing for asylum? What did you include in your I-589? Did you have did you include an affidavit with that? And they're looking at me like I'm speaking, a different language, which obviously is not going to be Yoruba language because, like we said, that's by the wayside. But they're looking at me like, okay, what the heck is she talking about? Or they tell me, lawyer Yoruba mi ṣe àbí ẹnìkan tá rò pé lawyer Yoruba ló ní ó máa bá a story. Okay, even if someone is going to help you, you should know what the basis of your asylum application is. Hello, Miss Sabina. There is no reason why you're filing for asylum, and it states that you've got to have a basis for persecution, and you've got zero idea what it is that you're filing based on. So how does that collide with your marriage green card process or even employment green card process? Here's how. If you file for when you file for asylum application, one of the if you look at instructions, and even when you file with USCIS or in court, you are reminded that you cannot file a frivolous asylum application. The reason why you cannot file a frivolous asylum application is if you do and USCIS concludes or the immigration court concludes that your asylum application was frivolous, it is going to prevent you from being able to get any other immigration benefit. Yes. If and when you file an asylum application, if that application is deemed to be a frivolous application, you are going to be found to have filed a frivolous application, and it will prevent you from getting any immigration benefit. So an example is you have a marriage-based case now you filed. You had an asylum case you filed before, but now you go for your marriage green card interview. Please understand that during your marriage green card interview, the USCIS officer that is interviewing you has the discretion to ask you about any other pending immigration applications. Now, they cannot ask you, for instance, if you had filed for VA before and then you go back to a regular marriage case, or you file for something TV, they can't ask you anything that's going to jeopardize your safety. However, they can ask you questions relating to whether or not you are going to be found inadmissible for the green card application. That's the correlation and the where they intertwine and where they collide, quote unquote. So if you are at a marriage-based interview, or you have been scheduled for an I-45 interview based on an NIW that was approved, or an employer-sponsored I-140, and you had an asylum application that you filed, they can ask you, what was the basis of your asylum application? What were you afraid of? Tell me what your story is. What is the narrative that you've got? If your narrative is completely different from what you entered, or you entered in your form, you completed in your form, it's going to be concluded that your asylum application was fraudulent and frivolous. And if that is the conclusion that either a USCIS officer makes, that means that you are going to be found inadmissible, and not only can your I-485 be denied, but even an underlying pending petition like an I-130, I-140 that has been approved or is still pending approval can either be denied and or revoked. So filing for asylum is great. However, again, there is no reason why you should, as an applicant for asylum, you should not know what the basis of your filing is. So you have to, I mean, it just, for me, and for instance, in my firm, right, when we do quite a number of asylum cases, and I remember there was a time that I had a client, or a potential client, and it was just a consultation, and I'll tell you, this is why it was just a consultation. They had been told by, a lot of people, go file for asylum, it's going to allow you. So they were worried about not extending or going out of status, and the I-94 not expiring. And so they were told to file for asylum. They consulted with me, and I was like, okay, so we get to the point of what is going to, hey, ethnic movements, what's going to be your basis for filing for asylum? Had no clue. And they're going to tell me, well, I was told by the people who told me to consult with you that you can help me come up with a story. Okay, let me stop you there. Sherry, license to me, what too expensive. It is very invaluable. I said, I don't know who these people are. I don't know. This lawyer right here would never, ever, ever, ever make up an asylum story on your behalf. You must have your own story. You must have your own, facts, set of facts, and you have to have evidence to back it up, even if it's as little as an affidavit. So so she said, okay, I'm going to, they said you can be like, no, I don't make up stories. So that just tells me that you do not have any fear of any persecution back in Nigeria. And that concluded our consultation. No one should be able to come up with a story on your behalf. If you do not have a story, yes, but when you are in a situation like what happened to this one of the people that consulted with me, because now we're trying to figure out what next. They were asked during the green card application interview, what was the basis of their asylum application? He had no clue what was entered in his I-589 application. So he just gave a story. The officer was like, that is completely contradictory to what you entered on your form. And then read what he actually entered in his form. And it was like, what he said and what was on the form were two different things. He had no clue because somebody helped him with it. And get this, the asylum case actually had been withdrawn. So it was not even a pending case. But USCIS officers will use that to say if you are going to misrepresent or if you actually qualified or were eligible to file the asylum in the first place, even if it has been withdrawn. If you're not eligible to file the asylum, it's going to be a conclusion of frivolous application. And a frivolous asylum application will prevent you from receiving any other immigration benefit. So this is one of the reasons why I do this, so that you are informed. If you've got a pending asylum application, even if it's been withdrawn, you have a marriage-based green card application interview coming up. You've got an employment-based petition interview coming up. Hear me loud and clear. You've got a VAWA-based, I-45 interview coming up. Hear me loud and clear. Know what you entered in your asylum application when you submitted it. Even if it's been 10 years, it doesn't matter. If you can't remember, do a FOIA request of your records, meaning submit a request to USCIS to get a complete copy of your file. It will contain your I-589 form that you submitted. If you had an affidavit, you would have it in your file. If it was just a matter of writing in the form itself, something to jog your memory about what you entered, so that if you find yourself before an officer like this guy did, you're not going to be saying something that's not going to lead to a denial of your case. So in his case, based on that officer concluding that the asylum application was frivolous, his I-130 and I-485 were denied. So it's just not Cecilia today. No, this is something so you are aware. Be informed. The more you know, I say it, so often, but the truth of the matter is, no pun intended, the more you know. You've got to know what you're dealing with, so that you do not now mess up the entire, you're trying to find another option besides waiting on the asylum case. Yes, you don't want to now mess that up completely. Know what you filed, so you're not going to be blindsided when you go for your interview. And that's all she wrote, people. That's all she wrote. Okay, so let's get to questions. Hello, Miss Salimata. How are you? Yeah, I think I'm coming down with a cold, so my voice is kind of like, opudekato. So, hello, Mr. Ojo. How are you? Hello, Mr. Tola. How are you doing? Hello, Miss Tor. How are my people? Cindy and the kids, because Cindy's an adult now. I can see how the kids. Hello, Miss Collins from St. Kitts. How are you doing? Happy and blessed Tuesday to you as well. Nahim Ogunle from Maryland. Thank you for joining. And yeah, we from Obajo, but yeah, actually going in your major people. Miss Eleanor's Sanctuary. I'm talking of Miss Eleanor's Sanctuary. It was 1 year on Saturday since she got her green card. So hello, Mr. Olajumeji. Good evening. How are you doing? 1 year on July 19th. So I sent her like happy green card anniversary. Gonna make up the stuff. Hello, Mr. Latubos. How are you? Quite a while. I take my green card. I think my one now. Isn't that how life is? You got the green card now, like, okay, whatever. But thank you for working with us. Hello, Pastor Isaac. I said the last time, I didn't even know how many days we're adding, but yeah. How are you doing, Mr. Shitu? Shetifa green card. No, not green card, citizenship, because I know we talked about that. But it's good to see faces. Always good to see what these are people that I've represented and have had their green cards for quite a while. So yeah, happy green card anniversary to have been there. Yeah, it's been a while, Blue Trillions. Well, when y'all become citizens or not, you just, but it's all good. It's all good. Hey, Tifal, Claude, don't be afraid. There's nothing you should be afraid of, because you're already qualified. We've talked about that anyway. Thank you. All right, let me go to Instagram. Anytime. Let's see. Come on in, say hello. Adik Page Lowell, thank you for joining. Sabina Unyoka, welcome in. Adikunle Ano. Mr. Joker. Welcoming everybody. All right, disclaimer, general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. Applied for U.S. citizenship, says 2 more months left, but still haven't received any interview notice letter. So what's your question? Please do not repeat questions. If you repeat your question, I'm going to skip it. If someone's green card is expiring November, can they travel? Any questions about travel? If you're not a client of mine, please direct that question to your attorney, or you set up a consultation with an attorney to properly discuss your case. Let's see. Someone got voluntary departure and they're still holding them in detention. I don't do detain cases. Okay. Pinky. If I knew that you repeated a question, I would have skipped it. Okay. Please, I think that usually you guys on TikTok usually do that a lot. Repeat the question. It's right. Yeah, right. Unrelated. Your hair is beautiful. Thank you. 1G, I appreciate that. I just got my green card. Can I put in my daughter's paperwork now? She is 19. I don't know anything about your case. So, but generally, if you have your green card and you can file, a green card holder can file for any child of any age as long as they're not married. So that's going to be up to you. But without knowing more information, I can tell you yes or no. My work permit expired last month, and I've done the renewal since January, but I'm yet to receive it. So what's your question? Please ask questions. I-45 at the National Benefits Center, is that a normal procedure? Yes, it is. Hello, Maggie. How are you? How are you? How are you? Thanks for the referral. What's next after I-360 correspondence was received and USCIS was reviewing it, whatever update comes up next? If the judge approves your I-45 with approval, is that the one people wait for 2 to 3 years to get it? You're talking about 42B. If you're talking about 42B, yeah, that will take forever. Let's see. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. What should you do if your case is still told them if your case is still within normal processing time? You're just going to have to wait unless you've got a basis for them to expedite your case. Hello, Miss Christiana. I recommended one of my friends to you. I think I remember Mr. Sheets. I remember him. He actually mentioned you. I think it was about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. So actually gone. Thank you for the referral. Is it possible to suddenly forget an immigration journey that gives one high blood pressure? Okay. My son derived citizenship from me and has a passport. Thus is need. I guess you're asking, is there a need to get a certificate of citizenship again? For me, I usually just recommend to have that. For whatever it's not required, but I just recommend to have that because you just never know. You just never know. So just like you would have a naturalization certificate, I would say you have the certificate of citizenship for a child that were derived from you. Just like a child who was born here has a birth certificate. I don't know. That's just my preference personally, but legally you're not required to. One or the other is sufficient proof that the child is a citizen. Yeah, let's go to Instagram. Okay, let's see. Good evening, everybody. Lord Mercy 681. Okay. Let's see. Try not to miss anyone's question. Americanized Yoruba. No, that one. Hello, Miss Nileji, beautiful lady, gorgeous lady. That one, anyone can sell me when it comes to. I mean, go there's some things you have to respect yourself on. My respect her when it comes. I can't argue with someone in Yoruba language. I can't. I can't win that argument. That much, Jimmy Gomo. But now, when we argue in English language, I mean, that's what I do for a living. I cannot. My daddy's like, Abisola, on the 𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕. You like, you can argue with the wall. I literally can't. So, but you're ready. You're going to win me on that one. That way, me go more. Okay, let's see. Miss Peggy, always joining the 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕. I really do not take any of you joining us each Tuesdays and Thursdays for granted. Hello, Mr. Nicholas. How are you? Good evening. Good evening. Hello, Epic Movement. Epic is almost birthday. Actually, exactly a month from. Yeah, August 21 is what, a month from today? You on August 21. I think it's a Thursday. A month from tomorrow? I know. Sometime. But a month from yesterday. It is a month from yesterday. So I'm still trying to decide what we're going to do for birthday month. That's chapter 47. Gosh. I cannot believe it. Like, what happened? Thank God for grace and additional years. Mr. Young Gentle. Okay, you're right. It's been a while, Blue Tree. It's always good to watch your videos. Thanks for all you guys are doing in that community. We thank God. God alone be praised. What state are you in? We're based in Alabama. Thank you, House of. Is it Mikadi or Misadi? Oh, Eshimi Saladriji. Welcome. Thank you, Ms. Abela. Welcome to the most positive platform where we share testimonies and our immigration journey to encourage one another. Hey, Miss Illinois Sanctuary. How are you? I've resigned. The gym is not. She said, I've resigned. The gym is not for me. Let me stick to my neighborhood walk. But talking of gym, I think we're getting there. My oldest kid is he's training me this summer, strength training. Tija. I mean, sometimes the kid will tell me, okay, this is what we're gonna like. No, kid, that's not what we're going. Because I know your mom, but for right now, you got to follow what I'm telling you. It's kind of like weird, like when your child is the one telling you something to do. But I'm like, okay, let me prepare my mind for when he actually is his own boss, and I go into his establishment and he's telling, hey, mama, sit your, you know what, down, because this is my place. So that's my personal trainer. So we'll see. Let's see how things look at the end of August, because I think we took a photo. Let's see where we are. I applied for VAS since March, but I still haven't heard a thing yet. Is that normal? What do you mean haven't heard a thing? And as far as getting receipt notices, if that's the case, let me say this. Y'all, you need to hear me. We are just literally getting receipt notices for cases filed end of February and March. Whatever it is that's going on in the Nebraska Service Center where we file VAL cases, I don't know. But if you are waiting on receipt notices, renewals, whatever, that's what we're seeing. There's nothing anyone can do. It's not your attorney's fault. We can't send an email to the Vermont Service Center because it has not been transferred to them yet. You're just going to have to wait. So this is why it's always recommended that when you file any application with USCIS, that you have proof of your mailing. Trackable mail, USPS, FedEx, UPS, whatever it is, be sure. And for instance, unless we are sending it to a PO box, a post office box, if it's going to a physical address, I always let my staff know you've got to select signature confirmation. Somebody's got to sign for it. And I cannot tell you how many times that has helped to be able to and argue for maybe a service request to reopen or something. So always make sure you send it with trackable mail so that if things like situations like this occur, then you are able to say, okay, it was mailed, it was delivered, it was signed for, you've got proof of that. Every single client that we have, if we are sending, like for instance, we send out quite a number of cases today, every single last one of those clients has received two things: an email that contains a link to download their file copy, and also a link for the tracking, so they can track their package. You can track it yourself, so you don't have to ask us whether you wonder if it has been delivered. No, because that's just how my brain works. I want to know that you've done. Not that I'm going to doubt you as an attorney, but I just want to know that you've done what I paid you for. So that's without fail. And so sometimes some clients will come like, Cecilia, for me file copy. I'm like, I know that's not true, because I can pull up a screenshot of the email that was sent to you. You just didn't download it. And then it's like silence. Yeah. Because he ain't gonna come back and tell me we didn't give you a file copy. It's just not gonna happen. So it's not just you, Nicholas. It's just a lot of people. Any questions about travel? Because ask your attorney, 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕 consider. Thank you, Ms. Avina. Okay, I can't advise on travel at this point. No. I'm always looking for. I'm just pulling your next blue readings. Thank you. Please no repeat questions. Yes. As I'm typing, I don't know if I'm falling asleep from exhaustion or hunger. Miss Ernest, actually stay in your house. Gym is not for everybody. I mean, you can work out at home. I just have I've never had a gym membership. Never in my entire existence. Even my kids have gym membership. I've been to a gym just to see somebody. I remember I went on there wasn't a blind date, in a date. Just, let me just put it out there. Anyone, listen, I always say I'm an equal opportunity dater. I'll date anybody from any race. Because let me go and listen. It doesn't mean I have time, but let me say this. Please understand that if your part of a date includes taking the girl or a woman to see how you work out at the gym, you may end up in the situation that this guy ended up, which is the girl, woman / me walking out. I ain't gonna do that. If I want to walk out, I will do that in the comfort of my home. Going to the gym is not my idea of trying to spend a day with you. No, I'm too old for that kind of stuff. I'm too old. Just too old. No. Oops. Okay. I think it's the gym guy that just caught me. So let me know if you did you guys lose me there? Okay, the guy's probably saying, you ain't gonna shame me like that. But anyway, okay. Hey, mama. Clean. Can you guys still? That was the first. My mom is on. Y'all say hello to my mom. I did too. The guy's probably watching like, oh, you're gonna out me that way. Yes, I did. You want me to say it again? Okay, let me say. Just want to make sure. Okay, that's where. How long after interview should you expect a response? Case like I can't answer that question. That varies based on your case, based on your field office. Come for some yummy. I don't want anyone to come for me, but sis knows what I mean. What are y'all talking about? I was getting motivated by this lawyer, and I got too motivated and ran 4 miles on the, on the treadmill when I was climbing up the stairs. I don't know what. I do work out. I ain't gonna lie. I do work out, and I really started working out because I was actually motivated by my boys. My boys are very active. When you live with boys that are, TJ is into sports, he's athletic. My oldest, you can tell he's into weight. He's really just that's his interest. So I live with the two of them, and they're very fit, and they're like, hey, mama, So, it's good that you have, your kids can motivate. And I'm like, you know what? Um, let's lose some weight. Let's get fit. And, let's, let's, so that's where we are. But I ain't going to the gym though. You ain't going to find me in the gym. No, not in the gym. Question in my head, who sent me? I'm not sure. I'm in for Syrian jollof. Jollof was even more spicy than Nigerian people. I'm not even lying. So I didn't even Sierra Leone people had jollof rice. 3 years and we will shut down the yard for the lawyers 50. CNN. CNN. Just leave me alone. And that's when surreal. Like 3 years from now, God willing, God keeping us 50. That makes no sense. I'm telling you, I don't even feel 40, almost 47. I don't. How is TJ doing? TJ is fine. TJ is with his dad this week. That's she quiet here. He's with his dad this week. But he's doing well. Okay, let's see. Clean credit record is a requirement for assisting lawyers potential. It is. My credit is, I think, 840 or something. So you've got to come close. The guy was like, let me end this conversation now. Listen. Okay, let's see. All right. King Kwaku, thank you. Can the new 3-month Nigeria to US single entry visa for the birth? Can the new, okay, I'm not sure I understand your question. Can the new 3-month Nigeria to US single entry visa for, are you asking if someone can use the 3-month single entry for the birth of a child? Is that what you're asking, Em? If that's your question, I mean, the visa is the visa. The visa just allows. So understand that the visa stamp, now they said it's going to be only valid for 3 months and all that. We're expecting that CBP would also follow suit and would not allow people to stay. Normally it's always been 6 months or whatever the case may be. But for those who now would start having the 3 months visa stamps, it's expected that they probably would authorize you to stay for 90 days. However, because your visa is going to be valid for 3 months, does not mean that CBP cannot extend your authorized stay in the country. The visa stamp is to come into the country. CBP decides how long you're going to be allowed to stay. So having the 3-month visa does not even mean you're going to be allowed to stay that whole 3-month period. You may be given an authorized to stay for 2 weeks or 30 days or 60 days. It just depends. We're just going to be seeing how that is going to work out. Prior to receiving my green card through VAL in 2021, an IRF was requested for police report from my home country, which I did, but I didn't provide 2 criminal dispositions in U.S. for violation and misdemeanor. Can I file for N400 and wait for next regime? My criminal dispositions was 2019 and 2020. Well, I would suggest that you wait. Even though you've got the new statutory period of 5 years, you just don't want a situation where they go back and say that you concealed material information and then start reopening your case. So it's just too much risk to take under this administration. And so I would just recommend that you wait. But do a FOIA request of your file, because the thing is, you may even, if you did a FOIA case, then you may actually have had it with your, especially if you did an FBI background check. So do a FOIA request of your records and see what's contained in your file. I got a green card from VAWA, and my ex is a green card holder. When can I apply for citizenship? As long as that ex is a green card holder, it will be 5 years from when you got your green card. If a couple divorced and one of them already used, if a couple divorced and one of them already used for marriage-based documentation, can other use it for VAL or both, or can both use it for VAL separately? I'm not really sure what you're asking, Deyanni. I'm assuming you're asking about a divorce document. So if that's what you're asking, I mean, you're supposed to use the same document for your cases. That's if that's the person you got divorced from, the document, the divorce decree shouldn't change. I mean, unless your initial divorce decree was questionable, now you have a new one. But I mean, that's something you discuss with a lawyer. Um, is it possible to ask the status of an I-290B? Mr. OJ, you're welcome to contact USCIS and speak with someone about the status of your case. If I file for motion to dismiss or recalendar and I file I-485 together, if the judge approves the I-485, is that the right? People wait forever before they get the grant. I'm not sure, DJ. I don't understand what you're asking. Let's see. Is there a waiver for me? You don't get waivers with N400. But I would see King. I would tell you sit down with a lawyer. I always say this firm is not for detailed. And then you're trying to avoid paying for consultation, even if it's not with me. Sit down with a lawyer to actually evaluate your case. This is not a case to evaluate what's going on in your record, especially when you've got criminal dispositions, a criminal record. This is not the forum for that. Sit down with a lawyer, have your case evaluated, know if it's going to be too risky to file for N400 at this time, or if you've got a chance. Okay. Okay, so yeah, if that's the Yan signature, there's no reason why you shouldn't use the same document unless you're saying that, yes, one was defective. If that's the case, then if you guys have a new divorce you've done, again, that's another thing you sit down with a lawyer for. But generally, you're supposed to use the same divorce document unless there is reason to believe that it was a defective divorce. Okay. All right, let's see. What happens if I have a name mistake on my divorce certificate, but if the other names are the same? What do you mean? What happens to what? Lady, my goodness. Thank you, Samantha. I appreciate that. Has the filing fee for I-130 and 45 increased? So far, we don't have anything regarding any of the regular USCIS petitions and applications. For those who are going to be filing asylum, however, there's going to be $100 fee for asylum now, and there's also going to be $100 annual fee for those who have their asylum case pending after October 1st, 2024, as long as it's pending for at least a year. So if for every year that your asylum case is pending, you're going to pay an annual fee. For all those filing a new asylum application, there's going to be filing fees. For those filing special immigrant juvenile status, is going to be filing fee now. If you are filing, so there's new fee for asylum-related EAD, asylum-related EAD renewal. It's a whole lot, it's just a whole lot that we're trying to keep up with. So, yeah. Just granted asylum. Congratulations. Can I file right away 485 and travel document now together? No, you have to wait at least a year after being granted asylum. This policy is not changed, but by the time USCIS is adjudicating your I-485, it cannot be less than a year from when your asylum was granted. Okay, I think the status on the file. Okay, how long is the end for? Anything about processing time, go on uscis.gov/processing time. Zane, what's your question? Highly favored. Thank you. I don't have a question for you. I just came across your page and I want to say thank you. Thank you as well. Thank you. Being on asylum, can I relocate to Canada? Is it advisable to relocate? Sit down with a lawyer to figure out your situation and see. But keeping in mind, once you leave the country, especially if you have overstayed before you filed or triggered any permanent bar, that's going to prevent you from coming into the country. Can you help do a FOIA? Yes, we do FOIAs all the time. So you can email me, but if there's anything addition that we have to talk about, you already know you're going to have to set up a consultation. But if it's just a FOIA, email me. We'll do that. I can tell you what the fee is, depending on what it is that you're trying to get. If I want to file for my new spouse, but I had divorced before, but I have a name error, see if you can get an amended divorce document. If not, just have an affidavit from the court, especially if it's a court from here. I do divorce in Alabama. If there's an error in the name, we just ask and file a motion with the court to have that amended. And so that there's this new order that is now going to be an amended order that's issued. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we got all questions. Let's see. I knew he was not around because immediately that thing fell in for you were putting. Well, it depends. If it fell right on, because I have like a little ledge, so that's where it fell. If it fell on the floor, I probably would have called CJ as a typical Nigerian mother. Because when you have something close to you, God forbid that would stand up and get it. Yeah, okay. I think we got all questions. All right. Okay, we still have about 5 minutes. Any other questions, y'all? Everybody good? Okay. All right. That's about it. Okay, people. Yeah. So is it good to is it good to file EB2 and IW now? I mean, if you qualify right now, nothing says you can't. My aunt has been here since 2012 with an immigrant visa and failed her civics test twice. You said, and there are other options for her. When you say immigrant visa, you mean with her green card. Immigrant visa is just to come in. Are there any options? She may want to see a physician to see if she's going to qualify for a medical exemption. The policy changed regarding that, so it would just be best for her to probably sit down with a lawyer or just try to do it again. No problem, Miss Peggy. No problem. All right. So, yes, y'all give me ideas. What should we do for the month of August? And law firm is also going to be 10 years old in October. I cannot believe that it's been almost 10 years. God is faithful. Time really does go by when you are, he will call you, has been typing. He has been typing with you since last week when you were. You mean he has been trying to have a consultation? I mean, how is he trying? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. He's trying. If you go on our website, that's how you schedule, or you call, and my assistant will be able to send you the information. But that's fine. We'll look forward to. We should do Zoom party. I appreciate it and have sweetness. You too, Miss Peggy. We should do Zoom party. Okay. Cake and wine. I don't drink alcohol. So let's find something else. But anyway, let's party. Let's party. No. And see the sea of lives changed by the law firm. Glory to God for the gift for you. Glory to God. God and God alone. All glory belongs to him. All glory. That was one of the cases that I was hoping for an approval. We got a denial today. That rocked my world. Because it just... But in all, thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. In all, we still give him praise. And, and using that situation, when I tell you that for me, the work that I do, it is expected. There's just no way around that. And if you know me, to know that, hello, Miss Queen Khadija, I don't take on easy cases. I just don't. I get bored easy. So if there's no kill leg in the case, it's like, anyone can do this. So those are kind of cases that I love. Call me crazy, because I don't, like I said, I don't have drama in my personal life. So that's my form of drama to work my brain. But I've come to learn, because of the nature of my work, and as much as you pray, that you hoping against hope. In every situation, hoping against hope, knowing that God would come through for you when you least expect it. But in times like this, when things like this occur, it's not a case of why. I used to do that, but I've come to the point where I understand that even before I got to know about a decision on the case, God already knew how it was going to end. Even while working on the case, you know, toiling into the midnight hours, God already knew how it was going to end. But it does not, like in K-drama, because K-drama, it doesn't change who God is. And so when things don't go as we expect, it does not reduce God's glory. It doesn't reduce his might. He remains God all by himself. And even in those moments where it seems like, okay, I've prayed and fasted and all that, why did this still not go my way? Before it happens, he already knows. There's nothing that's going to happen as you're planning it, he already knows. And it doesn't mean that but the word of God remains true, that his plans for us are not for evil. So if it's not working in your favor at that moment, it does not reduce God's glory. It doesn't reduce him being the creator, but it just tells you that it's not the expected end. Therefore, that story is not over. So it means that you just keep going. You keep trying. You keep going. You keep trying until that expected end, that promise that he has made, because not an iota of his word will pass by without being accomplished. If he says your expected end, which is going to be for your good, if it's not for your good yet, because the only way you can find out what the expected end is going to be is if you keep trying. If you give up and you throw in the towel and you lose faith, you would never know, and you would never be able to understand and appreciate and live in that expected end. So if you hear me say nothing else, and I say, and I'm preaching to myself too, can't give up. You haven't seen that expected end. You keep going one day at a time until you get to that final destination. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.